So, Dr. King, your initial efforts helped to end segregation in the public arena. You now focus on equality for every American. In the future, what hopes do you have for both the white and black communities?
Well, I hope to one day address an American community of sisters and brothers. When Mrs. King and I visited Jamaica, it impressed me that people of so many national backgrounds have one motto. Out of many people, one people. Citizens there don't consider themselves Asian, Indian, European, or African, but one big family of Jamaicans. I hope we can follow their example. Then in the future, I will not address a white or black community, but one big family of Americans. Our God created mankind equally. We must march on his truth.
Dr. King, after 1965, you turned your efforts towards social economic problems like poverty and homelessness. Why do you believe that race and poverty are really one problem?
There are those who still feel that if the Negro is to rise out of poverty, if the Negro is to rise out of the slum conditions, if he is to rise out of discrimination and segregation, he must do it all by himself. And so they say that the Negro must lift himself by his own bootstraps. It is something like keeping a man in prison for a number of years and suddenly discovering that that person is not guilty. And you just go up to him and say, "Now you are free." But you do not give him any bus fare to get to town. You do not give him any money to get clothes to put on his back or to get on his feet. It is all right to tell a man to lift himself by his own bootstraps. But it is a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
Dr. King, in today's violent world, many citizens feel that there is just too much at risk to still be a peacemaker as a nation. Recently, you have expressed some pretty strong and pretty unpopular views on war. Some ask why a great civil rights leader would become so involved in speaking out against war. What is the greater aim behind your approach to fighting for peace?
Life and history give eloquent testimony to the fact that conflicts are never resolved without trustful give and take on both sides. There are those who ask, "Aren't you a civil rights leader?" and thereby mean to exclude me from the movement for peace. The world now demands a maturity of America that we may not be able to achieve. It demands that we admit that we have been wrong, that we have been detrimental to the lives of people. If we do not act, we shall surely be dragged down the long, dark, and shameful corridors of time, reserved for those who possess power without compassion, might without morality, and strength without sight. I have spoken in many places, and my voice has created bridges for many people to march. Our legacy must be shared with each passing generation. The dream is a path, not a destination. The legacy is a gift that grows with its sharing. Do not let your light hide beneath a bushel, friends. Each step we take on this march wins dignity for every man, woman, and child. Exercise this legacy well. It must be handed down to our children and our children's children in order for it to be realized.
You know, that tonight, that brother that was doing Dr. King, I closed my eyes, I thought I heard Dr. King. He was marvelous, wasn't he? He was absolutely marvelous.